Breathing. It's something we do constantly, without effort, without thought. Yet most of us are getting it wrong. Wild as it sounds, there's a good chance you've been breathing inefficiently your entire life. And that's not just internet hype. There's real science behind why the way you breathe can either fuel your body and calm your mind, or keep you in a low-key state of stress. So today we're breaking it all down. What breathing does to your body, how certain techniques can genuinely improve your mental health, and the fastest method proven to ease stress almost instantly. Let's start with the basics. Every inhale you take doesn't just send oxygen into your system. It flips a switch in your nervous system. Breathing in wakes up your sympathetic nerves. That's the part of your body responsible for alertness, energy, readiness. Your heart rate ticks upward. A dose of noradrenaline enters the mix and you're subtly nudged into a more alert state. Now, breathing out does the opposite. As you exhale, your parasympathetic nervous system kicks in. This one's your natural relaxer. It slows your heart rate, eases tension, and puts your body on a more tranquil path. This inhale-exhale seesaw happens constantly, whether you notice it or not. But when you do pay attention, when you deliberately extend the exhale, you can tip the balance in favor of calm. Here's why. Your diaphragm plays a big role in this rhythm. When you breathe in, that muscle lowers and gently stretches the heart, making it larger for a moment. That slows down blood flow. Your brain senses this and reacts by increasing your heart rate. On the flip side, when you breathe out, your heart shrinks slightly, pushing blood faster, prompting your brain to ease the heart rate. This push-pull between breath and heartbeat is part of a deep biological loop you can consciously influence. Not only does slow, intentional breathing downshift your heart rate, it also boosts something called GABA, an important neurotransmitter that helps quiet brain activity. This is the stuff that turns mental static into stillness. Studies have even pitted breathing practices against other popular wellness strategies, like mindfulness meditation. One experiment followed a group of participants over a month. They were divided into 4 groups. One practiced even steady breathing, often called box breathing. Another focused on long inhales. A third worked on long exhales, and the last group simply meditated without focusing on breath. All groups reported some mental benefit. But the ones practicing structured breathwork felt calmer, less anxious, and more upbeat overall compared to those in the meditation group. And of those, the standout was the group extending their exhale, what researchers now call cyclic sighing. Not only did their stress drop, but their overall breathing pace slowed over time, even outside of practice. This suggests real physiological change, not just a fleeting mood shift. And the research doesn't stop at stress reduction. Breathing techniques have been explored for their effects on clinical conditions like depression and PTSD in structured settings, like guided sessions with professionals or focused workshops. Participants practice daily breath routines for weeks. The results? Measurable improvements. Depression scores dropped. PTSD symptoms eased. In some cases, these breathing routines performed as well as standard therapy. That's not to say they replace therapy, but they're a serious complement to it. A quick note here, while many of the calming methods focus on slow exhales, some of the clinical studies also included energizing breath routines that emphasize faster rhythms. So the kind of breathing matters based on the outcome you want. Now check yourself. How are you breathing right now? Through your mouth or your nose? It seems minor, but your breathing route makes a difference. Nose breathing, according to several studies, tends to be more efficient. Because your nostrils create more resistance, your lungs expand more fully, allowing deeper air exchange. Plus, the nose acts like a filter. It moistens and warms incoming air, and its tiny hairs trap unwanted particles. It's basically your built-in air purifier. On the other hand, mouth breathing, especially at night, can cause a bunch of issues. It's linked to snoring, sleep disruptions like apnea, and a desert dry mouth that messes with oral health. Long-term mouth breathing, particularly in children, can even alter how the face grows. It's subtle, but the consequences are real. So while most people naturally switch between nose and mouth, depending on activity level, trying to breathe through your nose more often, especially when relaxed, is generally a good idea. And breathing better doesn't just calm the mind. It can boost sleep too. In studies with kids at risk for poor sleep quality, those who learned mindfulness and breath work ended up snoozing an extra hour a night on average. Not only that, Their brain scans showed more time spent in REM sleep, the deepest and most restorative phase. That's no small win, especially for growing minds. Breathing can also sharpen how your brain works when you're awake. Though the evidence here isn't as rock solid, some experiments suggest a link between nose breathing and improved memory. And for those doing high-energy breathing practices, there's some support for better reaction times and quicker recall. So if you're prepping for a test, a presentation, or just want to stay sharp, it might help to explore energizing breath routines that stimulate alertness. Then there's the question of physical pain. Believe it or not, focused breathing has been shown to help here too. In situations ranging from chemotherapy to injury recovery, people practicing breathwork consistently reported less pain. Some studies even found reduced discomfort during acute stress tests, like cold exposure or heat challenges. It's not fully clear why this works. Some theories point to cardiovascular changes, others to shifting focus away from pain. But either way, it appears to be effective. One of the most fascinating developments in this space is a method called IMST, Inspiratory Muscle Strength Training. It's basically resistance training for your lungs. People inhale through a device that creates suction, strengthening the muscles used to breathe. Just 5 minutes a day, and after 6 weeks, participants saw their systolic blood pressure drop significantly, more than what's often seen with some medications or regular exercise routines. That's a big deal, especially considering how many older adults live with high blood pressure and struggle to meet exercise goals. This tiny change, 5 minutes of breathing, could actually save lives by reducing cardiovascular risk. And here's the kicker. You don't even need a fancy tool to get real benefit. There's one technique that's especially powerful, and we'll walk through it next. Let's talk about the fastest way to flip the stress switch off. There's a technique so simple, so quick, and yet so powerful, it's surprising more people don't know about it. It's called cyclic sighing. And according to leading researchers, this particular breathing method can bring noticeable calm in a matter of seconds, and lasting effects in just a few minutes a day. Here's how it works. You take a deep breath in through your nose, not a casual breath, but one that really fills your lungs. Then right before you exhale, you sneak in a second shorter inhale. Think of it like topping off a nearly full glass. Once you've pulled in that last bit of air, you slowly release the breath out through your mouth. Not fast, not forced, just smooth and easy. This combination, the deep breath, the little bonus inhale, and the long, slow exhale, sends a strong signal to your nervous system. Relax. It helps pop open more air sacs in the lungs, giving you better oxygen exchange. And it helps you dump more carbon dioxide on the way out. That CO2 release is key. It resets your system and gives you that grounded, clear-headed feeling. Now, if you're just doing this once, it might feel like a tiny shift. But even a single cycle has been shown to activate the parasympathetic nervous system and ease stress in the moment. When you stack a few together, say 3 or 4 breaths, you'll start to feel the change more fully. And if you make it a habit, 5 minutes a day, the benefits build over time. People who commit to this practice have seen real improvements, not just in how they feel, but in measurable health markers. Lower blood pressure, reduced anxiety, more emotional control. It's not magic and it's not hype. It's biology and it works fast. Now this isn't some new age thing either. You'll find scientists like Andrew Huberman, a well-known neuroscientist, advocating for this exact method based on hard data, not guesses. His team and others have run multiple studies confirming its effectiveness, even comparing it to other breathing styles and meditation. Cyclic sighing comes out on top time, and again for immediate stress relief and long-term mood balance. Let's actually try it together. Wherever you are, make sure you're in a place where you won't be disturbed for a moment. Sit comfortably. Let your shoulders drop. Now take a deep breath in through your nose. Fill your lungs. Pause briefly, then take in just a bit more air. A small second inhale. Now let it go gently through your mouth. Slow, unhurried. Feel the tension ease out with it. Did you feel that shift? A soft reset. Even one breath can give you that little nudge towards stillness. Of course, if you're under pressure, overwhelmed, or just need a reset in the middle of your day, this is one of the quickest tools you can pull out. It takes less time than making a cup of coffee, and it costs nothing. No gadgets, no apps, just air and attention. Now don't get the wrong idea. This doesn't mean breath work is a miracle fix. It's not going to erase deep trauma overnight or replace medical care. And yes, Some people have exaggerated its benefits online. That's inevitable with any trend. But strip away the buzzwords and you're left with a technique that's efficient, grounded in science, and refreshingly low effort. What makes it different from most health advice is how accessible it is. You don't need to be fit. You don't need equipment. You don't need to carve out an hour of your day. 5 minutes or even less can make a difference. That's rare in a world where most well-being strategies require massive time or lifestyle overhauls. It also helps to think of breathwork as a companion to other habits. It pairs well with meditation, exercise, therapy, or even just taking a walk. It's not about becoming a guru or chasing inner peace. It's about giving yourself a break from the mental noise and physical tension we carry without even noticing. And that's really the point. We're living in a time where everyone's running on empty, pushed by notifications, noise, pressure, uncertainty. People are walking around with their nervous system stuck in overdrive, bracing for the next thing, rarely getting the reset they need. That's why techniques like this matter. Not because they promise enlightenment, but because they offer balance. It's like a pressure valve. Instead of letting stress build up until it spills out as exhaustion or burnout, you let a little out every day. You clear the static before it turns into chaos. So the next time you feel wired, distracted, or overwhelmed, stop, breathe in, add that second inhale, breathe out slowly. Do it again. It might feel subtle at first, but over time your body will learn the pattern. It becomes a tool you can trust, not a performance, not a ritual, just something you can count on when things start to feel heavy. And don't underestimate what a small shift can do. One breath won't solve everything, but it might be enough to change your state of mind. And 5 minutes of that day after day can change your baseline. Imagine starting your mornings with clarity, handling conflict without spiraling, falling asleep more easily, waking up more rested. These aren't fantasies. They're just the ripple effects of a better relationship with your own breath. We've spent so long treating stress like something we have to just push through. But you don't have to white-knuckle your way through life. You can learn to switch gears, to guide your nervous system instead of being dragged around by it. And the entry point is right there, just beneath your nose. So as we wrap up, think about where you might insert this into your day. First thing in the morning before you check your phone. Midday when your energy crashes. Right before bed to transition into rest. No ceremony required. Just breath, awareness, and a few quiet minutes. Breathing is the one system in the body that works automatically, but can also be steered manually. That's a superpower, and now you know how to use it. If this sparked curiosity, or you want to explore more about the techniques, the science, or personal experiences with it, there's a lot more out there, from podcasts to studies to full programs. But this is enough to start. One breath, then another. A simple shift with real impact, and with that we're done. You've got the knowledge. Now it's just a matter of putting it into practice. No cost, no noise, just a better way to feel better right now.